Royal courtiers are reportedly quite upset over allegations made by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's biographer Omid Scobie, who claims that Prince William ignored Prince Harry's phone calls as the brothers raced to be by Queen Elizabeth II's bedside in Scotland in September of last year. According to a royal insider who spoke with the Mirror newspaper, it seems that no matter what happens privately within the royal family, even during such a painful and grief-stricken time as the Queen's final hours, details are bound to eventually come out publicly. The insider said that when it comes to the royal family, nothing is off-limits to the media, with Prince William and Kate Middleton appearing to be this particular author's main targets. The insider lamented that it only takes a few months for the daggers to come out again and for old wounds to be reopened. In an excerpt from his latest book, Endgame, Mr. Scobie alleges that Prince Harry was kept in the dark about the Queen's failing health in the hours leading up to her passing. He also claims that Prince William feels he has lost Harry and no longer wants anything to do with the version of his brother that now exists. Mr. Scobie, who previously published a flattering biography of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in 2020 titled Finding Freedom, writes that Harry and Meghan had no idea the rest of the royal family was preparing for the Queen's imminent death last year. In Endgame, Mr. Scobie gives an account of how the Sussexes were visiting the UK in September 2022 for a series of engagements, when Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen had been advised by doctors to rest. He explains that by the following morning, Harry and Meghan were completely unaware that Buckingham Palace was already making plans for the Queen's final hours and the first days of the new reign under King Charles IX. That is, until Prince Harry's phone started ringing with an unknown number. Meghan urged Harry to answer the call, which he did just before it went to voicemail. On the line was Prince Charles, who informed Harry that he and Camilla were about to leave their Scottish home of Dumfries House for Balmoral Castle, where Princess Anne was already at the Queen's bedside. Charles told Harry to make his way to Scotland immediately. Harry then sent a text message to William asking about his brother's travel plans and whether they could go to Balmoral together, but received no response, according to Scobie. Harry was later told that he had managed to get a flight to Scotland with his uncles Prince Andrew and Prince Edward. It was upsetting to witness, Scobie claims he was told by an unnamed source close to Harry and Meghan. He was completely by himself on this. Scobie further alleges that palace sources selectively briefed certain media outlets that Charles had personally informed Harry about the Queen's illness, even though this was apparently untrue. He cites a friend of Harry's who said this misleading briefing left the Duke of Sussex feeling crushed. The journalist makes additional claims about the damaged relationship between William and Harry. He asserts that William feels he has lost his brother and wants nothing to do with the person Harry has become. From the perspective of some royal insiders, Scobie is clearly grinding an axe with this latest book. They believe he is stirring up unnecessary drama and exaggerating divisions between the princes for his own benefit. However, others argue there is truth to Scobie's reporting, and that the royal family prefers to hide behind a facade rather than publicly acknowledge any internal tensions or estrangements. One thing is clear, historians will be analyzing and debating the complex dynamic between William and Harry for many years to come. Their once close brotherly bond has deteriorated into distrust and resentment, much of which appears to stem from Harry's marriage to Meghan Markle and the couple's subsequent exit from royal life. The House of Windsor is facing internal crisis even as it transitions to a new reign under King Charles IX. Only time will tell whether the royal family can heal its wounds, regain public trust, and present a unified front moving forward. The familial bonds between Prince William and Prince Harry have been completely shattered, with no hope of rebuilding their fraternal relationship, according to an explosive new book by royal expert Christopher Anderson. In an excerpt from the forthcoming tell-all volume titled The King, The Life of Charles Ego, Anderson asserts that William views his younger brother as a deserter who abandoned his royal duties. After Harry exited from his position within the royal structure and moved across the Atlantic Ocean to California, William apparently came to see him as defecting from the Windsor clan. This permanent rupture between the once close siblings is reiterated by Anderson's claim that there is absolutely no possibility of reconciliation at this juncture. The bitterness and resentment now runs too deep, the damage too severe, for there to be any restoration of their familial bonds. Harry's decision to spill inside secrets about the royals in his memoir, Spare, earlier this year is cited as the definitive breaking point in the relationship. Buckingham Palace strategically declined to remark on the bold allegations put forth in The King. Likely to avoid fanning the flames of controversy, the book seems certain to ignite upon its publication later this month. However, the seriousness of its charges are underscored by the fact that the palace chose not to categorically deny what the author is contending. Their refusal to comment could be interpreted as a tacit acknowledgement that Anderson's characterization of the demolished relationship between William and Harry contains more than a grain of truth. This latest bombshell comes on the heels of a report that Harry and King Charles Ile had a reasonably cordial telephone conversation yesterday, marking the new monarch's 75th birthday. It was the first time in 6 months the estranged royals are believed to have spoken directly. Ever since Harry ignited fierce backlash by releasing his tell-all book earlier this year, communication between father and son had been virtually non-existent. They have had minimal contact in the months since Harry publicly aired grievances against his family and described painful episodes from his childhood. Meghan Markle, Harry's wife, also called Charles to pass along warm birthday wishes. She and Harry had their children, Archie and Lilibet, record a cute video singing happy birthday to their grandfather. This has been interpreted as a small but meaningful thawing in the icy relations that have prevailed since the Sussexes moved to America and began openly criticizing the royal family. According to some reports, the civil birthday phone call signifies a shift to a more conciliatory tone between Charles and his younger son. It is being characterized as a potential turning point that could slowly lead to a gradual rebuilding of the battered relationship. The King and Harry will purportedly have another amiable phone conversation next week, as Charles seeks connection with his only remaining immediate family. Harry and Meghan had previously stated that Buckingham Palace did not extend them any invitation to attend Charles' 75th birthday celebrations. But palace insiders disputed this, claiming the Sussexes were indeed asked to join the festivities but declined. There appears to have been misaligned perceptions on both sides about whether or not efforts were made to include Harry and Meghan in the milestone royal birthday event. Regardless of the discrepancy, some progress was seemingly made with the short but pleasant birthday phone call between estranged father and son. Charles is said to have deeply missed his youngest child since he departed for America. And Harry too is feeling the loss, now that his anger has had time to abate. The friendly exchange could be the first tiny step in a long, slow road toward healing the vicious rift that has pitted the Sussexes against the rest of the royal family. Only time will tell whether it may lead to deeper reconciliation. Meanwhile, other senior royals gathered together in joyful unity to celebrate King Charles' 75th birthday. Prince William and Kate Middleton, the Prince and Princess of Wales, were photographed departing Clarence House together late at night after marking the monarch's landmark day. Princess Beatrice, daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, was also in attendance. Lady Sarah Chatto, daughter of the late Princess Margaret, joined the festivities. So too did Zara Tindall and her husband, Mike Tindall, as well as Lady Susan Hussey, aged 84, who was a devoted lady-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth II. The party guest list contained various cousins and extended relatives, demonstrating the harmony and closeness the rest of the royal family share. Noticeably absent were the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, sadly estranged and separated by an ocean as well as painful grievances. While political, legal, and geographic barriers divide them, there are hopeful signs that personal fences may slowly be mended through civil conversation. In royal fairy tales, there are rarely tidy happy endings or perfect resolutions. But the House of Windsor has weathered many storms before and emerged intact. As Charles embarks upon his reign, his greatest wish seems to be reuniting with his beloved youngest son and namesake grandson. The Sussexes too have signaled a desire for reconciliation, despite lingering hurt. Yesterday's kind birthday phone call could signify the first faint glimmer of light at the end of a long, dark tunnel of alienation between Harry and the royal family. One cordial chat alone will not instantly repair years of ruptured relationships. but the longest journey begins with a single step. For the aging king nearing the end of his life, nothing could be more precious than having his son and grandchildren back in the palace fold where they belong. As Charles rises to meet the challenges of his new role, mending broken bonds with Harry may be the most meaningful work of all. If they can find their way back to each other, it will be the only royal happy ending that matters. Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.